participate in public participation.
May I?
Yep.
Gentlemen of the Board of Commissioners, good day. I sit before you today as a mere citizen, but a concerned citizen who prides himself on ensuring justice and transparency within our government. My name is Justin James McShane. I live in Lower Paxton Township in the county of Dauphin. Today I wish to address an essential cornerstone of our democracy and legal framework, the right to know law in Pennsylvania. This law is not merely a statutory obligation, but a profound commitment to rapid transparency, accountability, and the public's right to access information. Its legislative intent is clear: to empower citizens by granting them quick access to public records, thereby fostering an environment of openness and trust between the government and the people it serves. However, it has come to my attention that there appears to be a systematic issue with the application of Dauphin County's agency open record officers policy, particularly concerning the routine issuance of 30 calendar day extensions for nearly every right-to-know request on the 5th day, or even after that, of the initial request. This is a, quote, maximum delay, end quote, tactic, where under the color of law, Dauphin County seeks to delay the release of information. As you may know, prior to January 10th, 2024, it was the practice of the AORO to generally, and with few exceptions, routinely issue a 30-day extension letter on the 5th day of the request. Such routine and habit were automatic to a degree and not at all in true consideration of the law or reality. A spreadsheet maintained by the AORO gives evidence of years of this practice. It is proof positive of this behavior. If you have not done a statistical analysis of it yet, I will. Once it's released, that is, if it is released, as it sits now on day 4 of my right to know request with no response. I hold out hope that I will get a record without a 30-day extension. While hope springs eternal, the statistics in that spreadsheet are not in favor of my hopes. The maximum delay practice was abolished beginning January 10th, 2024 until March 22nd, 2024. It now appears to be back in full effect. This practice, while seemingly benign at first glance, deviates from both the spirit and the letter of the law. As codified in the law, the AORO shall reply within 5 business days of the request. In the wake of the very unpopular 2005 midnight hidden pay raise that led to a cleaning of the legislature in Pennsylvania, and after nearly a year's worth of debate, the right to know law was passed unanimously by both the Pennsylvania House and the Pennsylvania Senate. The Patriot News, in its article, very flatly entitled, "Few Pennsylvania Lawmakers Remain from the Infamous 2005 Pay Increases." The crux of that bill was that the public has the right to know. In the words of then Representative Mahoney, as well as then Senators Mello, Peligi, and many others, the purpose of the right to know law changes was to increase the speed of disclosure, as the prior law allowed for a 10-day response time and the new right to know law was reduced to 5 days. In fact, multiple members of the legislature during committee debates and on the floors stated that the 30-day extension should be exceedingly rarely invoked. The 30 calendar day extension is not a blanket provision to be applied indiscriminately or automatically. is reserved for very specific limited circumstances of very limited scope and application. The only exceptions are, per the statute, off-site location of records, staffing limitations, and that isn't just simply that you assign one person part-time to do this. You have to look at the entirety of the organization. 1,723 employees are available. The complexity of the request or the failure of the requester to comply with necessary fees or agency policy. It is a measure designed to ensure due diligence and thoroughness, not to hinder or delay the public's access to information. Let me be clear. These are the public's records. They are not state secrets. Transparency delayed is transparency denied. The routine application of this extension, regardless of the request's nature or the actual need for additional time, undermines the law's purpose. It not only delays justice, but erodes trust. Again, transparency delayed is transparency denied. All that is required is for two of you here, now and today, to order the AORO to stop this practice. Again, hope springs eternal in my heart. As advocates for justice and champions of the public's right to know, it is our collective responsibility to uphold the integrity of this law. Of this, I am sure you agree. We must ensure that its provisions are not merely followed to the letter, but embraced in spirit. The indiscriminate and unwarranted use of 30-day extensions not only contravenes the specific guidelines set forth by the legislature, but also impedes the fundamental right of our citizens to timely access public information. Therefore, I urge the Dauphin County Commissioners to review and address this policy with the AORO. The law is not optional. Who among us can disagree with that sentiment? It is imperative that we adhere to the law's intended use of extensions, applying them only when it's truly justified and not as a matter of routine. In doing so, you affirm your legal duty and moral duty of commitment to transparency and accountability, the law, and the trust placed in you by me and all the other citizens and residents of this community and the public that you serve. I am hopeful for a response here. You're not required to give one, of course. And now, here now today on this video, that you expressly reject the maximum delay tactic, and you will instruct the AORO to abandon this tactic. You may, as is your choice, say that no such tactic exists, or it never existed, or that if it existed, it was without your knowledge or approval, but I remind you, the spreadsheet shows otherwise. You may, as is your choice, say nothing. I am, however, prepared for no comment, and the people can draw whatever inferences they may from that silence. You are each individually and collectively very good human beings. There's a lot of goodness here, even if you don't see it among each other. But here, with this, you can do better. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I look forward to seeing the steps that we'll take together to ensure the right to know law fulfills its noble purpose. That's the end of my prepared statements. As you know me, I do wish to say this. I don't like to give problems and admire them. This is a problem. I do want to offer a solution. Your AORO is a good man. He's a great man. He has no technical training in the law in this. He has no knowledge. He has not been set up to succeed. The volume of requests and the complexity of the law, not only just the 30 exceptions under 708 and the 3 statutory ones by common law, but also the 34 that go across federal regulations. I'm sorry, Commissioner Douglas? And the 43 exceptions that exist under state law. That's complex. Plus, something that is universally missed is Article 1, Section 1, right of reputation. When you release a record, the person who is contained within that record has a reputational element correct that they have to be able to defend themselves before it gets released. There's wide-scale lack of knowledge of right to know and sunshine law. Just today when I came in, one of your staff members, when I put these microphones up here to record this capturing, suggested that it isn't permitted. It isn't allowed. They thought it was placarded. Clearly, it doesn't say that on the placard that's out there. Nevertheless, this is a systematic problem that needs to get addressed. It can get very expensive. And more importantly, I would suggest you can do better. You guys are great people. I worked for you. I took pride in that. Each one of your visions, I believed in and I signed on for. I know each one of you are good people. Let's just do better. Let's get rid of the idea that this is a part-time job of one person who is already overwhelmed with all of his other duties, who doesn't have a deputy, that doesn't have any help. This needs to be professionalized. It needs to be staffed appropriately, and yes, it'll cost money, but by golly, these are the public's records. These are public actions. We can and we should do better. That's my final plea to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment?
I just want to make it clear that I was Googling AORO. I always knew it as the Open Records Officer, so I just wanted
Okay.
to make sure I understood what that acronym meant. That's what I was
Sure.
Thank you. Any other public comments for today's meeting? Hearing none at this time, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.